Hi, welcome to Introduction to Drupal Module Development tutorial. My name is Ajinkya Kulkarni. Today I am going to show you how to create a basic Drupal module from scratch. Before we start writing code, I assume that you are little familiar with Drupal and have seen couple of Drupal based sites. To write a Drupal module, you will need to install web server, database server, PHP and Drupal. You can use PHP IDE like NetBeans or any notepad like application to write a code. I have given few links here from where I have downloaded and set up the required development environment for this tutorial. So what is a Drupal module? A Drupal module is a way using which a user can extend or add additional functionality to Drupal. A Drupal module is typically written using combination of PHP, JavaScript, CSS and HTML. I have installed a fresh copy of Drupal on my local machine, which can be accessed from http://localhost/drupal 7.14. I have used the phpMyAdmin tool to create a database and associate a user with that database so that Drupal can be installed on my local machine. phpMyAdmin is very nice and robust web-based database management tool. Now let us try to understand directory organization that comes with XAMPP. Here are the directories where PHP and MySQL are installed. Here is the installed copy of Drupal version 7.14. If we navigate under directory, sites, all, we find a directory called modules. We should put all our custom Drupal modules inside this directory. So now let's begin coding. We will create a new folder for our module. Let's name it Hello. Since we name our module Hello, according to Drupal module naming convention, we need to create two required files. One is hello.module, which is a PHP file, and another one is hello.info file. .info file is a plain text file and it is used by Drupal to identify name, description and required Drupal core version of our module. We need to enable this module from the modules listing page. Done. Let's write a simple function which will be executed every time we load a Drupal page. We can use the inbuilt function called Drupal set message to show message on the home page. Before any execution of this code takes place, we need to clear Drupal cache. We need to clear Drupal's cache whenever we make important structural changes in our code, such as adding new hook function. Now every time a page is loaded, hello message will be shown to the user. So let us understand what is a Drupal hook. Hook is a mechanism using which a Drupal module can respond to Drupal's action or events. For example, we have just written a Drupal hook called hook init. Hook init is called each time Drupal is initialized, like when page is refreshed or new page is loaded. There are over 350 hooks provided by Drupal. Now let us talk more about hook called hook menu. Hook menu allows modules to register paths so that URL requests can be handled. Basically, registered paths acts like a communication channel between your client and server-side code. When Drupal is preparing to show menu items to the user, Drupal will check in each of its modules to see if any of them is implementing hook menu. If a module implements hook menu, Drupal will ask that module to provide listing of menu items that it wants to present to the user. Let's now write the hook menu function. Before that, comment out the set message function. We don't want it to be executing all the time anymore. Word hook in the hook menu is actually a placeholder for our module name. This makes the name of your module unique and does not conflict with hooks in other modules. We want to show a form to the user, and in order to access that form, we need a menu item. So let's write a menu item, define a path, hello page. When user goes to http://localhost/drupal 7.14/hello page, our form will be shown. Give a title and description to the menu item. The page callback attributes tells Drupal what function code to execute when user opens our form. Since we are going to use Drupal form API to write our form, we will call Drupal getForm function and then tell that function to process our custom form generation code that we'll be writing shortly. So we define page callback equal to Drupal getForm and tell it to call our custom function hello_show hello form. We also need to define access permissions for this menu item. Right now just give everybody access to our form. We define type of this menu to be a normal item so that it will be visible under Drupal's navigation block. Since we have added another important hook, we need to clear Drupal's cache again, so that Drupal will reprocess all menu items for us. Drupal caches some of its hooks output in order to speed up the page load time. Clearing the cache forces Drupal to reprocess all the hooks once again. Now go back to home page and hit refresh. You will notice that our new menu item is now being shown under navigation block. See, hello page is the path, title is my hello page, and description is hello user, exactly as we described. Now if we click on this menu item, we will get an error message as we haven't yet written the function called hello underscore show hello form. We will use Drupal form API to construct a HTML form. Form API provides a secure framework to create and execute forms and greatly reduces the amount of HTML, JavaScript and CSS that we need to write in order to create such forms. If Form API is not used, we will need to deal with cross-site request forgery attacks on our own. In this tutorial, we will see both ways to create forms with or without using Form API. Let's write code for show hello form. Start by defining an empty form array and begin adding required GUI components. Add a text box for inputting the name, give a human-friendly title, Now let's clear the cache and refresh the page. So here is the input field that we have just added. Let's add a submit button to send data to the server. Define type equal to submit and value, which is actually a title for this button, equal to submit. Even we enter anything in this input field and hit submit button, nothing will happen as we haven't written any code that will handle this input for us. So let's write a submit handler which will be executed after user hits the submit button. Let's call this function hello show hello form sub underscore submit. Now when this function is called, Drupal will pass the value entered by user in the name input field into a special variable called form state so that we can access it. Before that, let's make sure that our submit handler is actually being recognized by Drupal. To test this, let's show some dummy message on the screen first. Hit submit. Great. So our submit handler is being executed as expected. Now we need to read the name entered by the user in the input field and then greet user hello back. We use the form set variable to access value of the input field. We write parameter name because this is what we have defined in the first place in our form definition. In PHP, dot operator used to concatenate two strings. Let's test our code. Great. We are now able to process the user's input. Let's write some input validation. Say if user enters a blank input, we will show the error message. We can use form set error function to show error on the page. If we now hit submit without entering any value, the error message will be shown to the user. This completes the first part of this tutorial where we'll learn to create a basic Drupal module using hook menu and form API. In the next part, we will add additional items to our form and use Ajax techniques to submit data to the server asynchronously. Now we add another button to our form by writing HTML directly inside our function, bypassing Drupal's form API. This method is not recommended by Drupal community unless required functionality is not provided by any of the existing modules and you are dealing with cross-site scripting and cross-site request forgery attacks yourself. So here we are basically attaching our custom HTML code to the bottom of this form using hash suffix attribute. We will write an input form element, give it ID and value. This ID will be used when we will be writing an event listener in JavaScript shortly. After we refresh page, we notice our new button is now added at the bottom of this form. We can use Firebug to actually inspect our HTML code. Now after user clicks on the submit button, value entered in the input field should be sent to the server and response should be sent back asynchronously without page being refreshed. So to show a return message, we need to add a div tag in which we will print the hello message. Let's give id equal to message display area. If we go back to our page and again inspect using Firebug, we will find our new div tag has been added there too. So let's add a JavaScript file to add some interactivity to our page. We will use jQuery library which is inbuilt into Drupal. When document is loaded completely, we will add and click event listener for our submit button. For now, let's show an alert to make sure our event listener is being executed properly. Now we need to tell Drupal to add our new hello.js along with other files. We specify the relative path to hello.js. Let's refresh the page and verify that JavaScript is being loaded by the browser. Now if we click on the button, we'll get the alert. Now what we need to do is that after user clicks on the submit with Ajax button, we want to send the name entered by user to the server. Get back the response and append it in the div tag with the ID message display area. In order for JavaScript to communicate with our PHP server-side code, we need to define another menu item, but this time we define it as a menu callback. We will need to write a new function to handle the callback. So let's write a function called hello Ajax call handler. For now, we'll send a dummy message. Clear the cache and test this new code. After we open get hello URL path, we get our predefined message. We also got other Drupal generated HTML along with this response. This happened because we are still calling the Drupal get form, which we use while using the form API. Since we are not using form API for this handler, we need to call our function directly. So if we now refresh the page, we'll get only the message that we sent. Okay, now we need a way to send name to the server, and to do that we will use HTTP get parameters. So when name is passed as a get parameter, we want to read it on the server side and echo it back to the browser. Now we modify the echo statement and add get parameter called name. Let's test this. Awesome. Now we can successfully pass parameter value pair from browser to PHP and read it and send response back. Now let's do same thing using Ajax. Comment out the alert statement and use jQuery to make Ajax call. We need to specify the URL where we want to send name using this Ajax call. Drupal.settings.base path contains the path where Drupal is installed. We can use Firefox console to inspect its value. Now let's pass the name entered by user in the input field to the server. Using Firebug, we can find out that ID of the name input element is edit-name. We can write JavaScript code to read its value. If we pass hash ID of the element to the jQuery function, jQuery returns the object for that element, and then we can use the method called val to read its value. We will copy this code and paste it inside our Ajax call. When Ajax call is made, the value from the input field will be read and sent to the server. After the response is successfully received from the server, we will show the alert message. Let's test this new code changes. Refresh and hit submit. Success. In Firebug console, you can see the details of Ajax call, parameter pass and received response. Now let's append the message inside div tag. We use the jQuery's append method to write data to this tag. Now comment out the alert and put new code in and test the new changes. Now let's add some styling to our message. To do that, we add a CSS file called hello.css. Copy the ID of the div tag and set background color to yellow. We need to tell Drupal to include this CSS file as well. Hit refresh and verify that file is being loaded. Click submit and there are our CSS changes. You can use Firebug to dynamically test different colors too. Since we are not using Drupal form API, we need to deal with cross-site scripting and cross-site request forgery attacks ourselves. Cross-site scripting is a type of attack where attacker can inject malicious code, links or images into our web pages without our knowledge. Cross-site request forgery is a type of exploit using which an attacker can send the unauthorized commands to our application on behalf of a user that our application trusts. Let's see an example of cross-site scripting attack. Rather than sending a plain text, let's send an image as input to the server. Since we are not doing any kind of filtering on our input, user can embed any malicious images or JavaScript code on our site or can force user to go to another site. Fortunately, Drupal provides us a function called filter XSS which can remove the unwanted markup from the input for us. We just need to wrap our get parameter inside this function and we are done. Now even we enter the image URL, you can see Drupal has filtered it out. Let's see an example of cross-site request forgery attack. So here is the attacker on the left hand side and you are on the right hand side. And say attacker sends you an image saying that you won the iPad. And actually attacker includes this wonderful image inside an anchor tag which points to an URL using which password of your account can be changed if you have active sessions on one of the targeted site. So if you click on the image, browser will think that it is you who is executing this password change request and boom, your password will be changed without your consent. Drupal form API protects us from such attacks. It does this by including a hidden per user token. Without this token, Drupal will not take any action on your input. We can also do the same and make our Ajax call secure. We use the Drupal get token function and a unique user ID from Drupal's user object to create a user specific token. Now we can add this token by writing an inline JavaScript so that we can access it on the client side. We can view the source code of the page to verify this. We can also use Firebug console to verify that token is now included. Now we need to send token along with name in our Ajax call. When token is sent, we need to validate it before we give access to the user. If token is not present or if Drupal cannot validate the token, we deny the access to our function. Let's verify this. We use web browser to access our menu handler. Since token is not present this time, we will get access denied page. Great, as expected. Now if we click on submit button, we can see that token is being passed along with the name and we are getting the response back. If we do not send a token, we will also get access denied here. You can see that here access denied page is being sent since token is missing. So let's add the token back. If you send the wrong token, we can see that we will again get the access denied page. So using this technique, we can prevent cross-site request forgery attacks. So in this tutorial, we have learned how to create basic Drupal module, use hooks, menus, Ajax, and how to prevent cross-site scripting and cross-site request forgery attacks in your custom Drupal module. Thanks for watching.